I see this arrow pointing way up on this team as far as performance and the number of victories we're going to get out of here with.
Yes, indeed. And I think a lot of that falls on the leadership, as you see the L on the chest of some of the players, including Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback. I think he's taken on even a more of a leadership role, as you saw him have the receivers out to Coach Prime's crib. Man, how lucky are those guys to be able to experience that? How great for it the offense is that going to be, and when it translates on the field with that camaraderie with those guys and that chemistry. Talk about Shedeur Sanders' leadership, because I've seen a lot from the cutting of the hair. It said he's all business to bringing the guys together.
I think that's an area that people are asleep on that don't it doesn't get talked about enough. You see his arm strength, you see his fortitude and how he can take hits and get up and not blame his offensive line, not blame his coordinators or teammates. Goes out there like a stud and just fights and keeps on fighting. But what I would tell people out there, the last time Shedeur Sanders had his hair cut the way it's cut now, 2 undefeated seasons in conference, 2 back-to-back conference championships, back-to-back bowl games. When he has that cut, he is dialed in and he is locked in. It's all business. But the way his teammates gravitate around him, people would think that he's distant or something in the building. But he's friends with his teammates. He talks to them, hangs out with his line and receivers. You see him in the cafeteria around the building. He's not some distant celebrity figure or anything like that. And when he speaks, people listen and they follow him on the field. And, he's working out and strength and conditioning just as hard as anybody else is. He's not resting on, having broken Colorado records last year. He wants that bowl game victory. He wants that Big 12 national championship and that playoff berth just as bad as anybody else does. And his leadership, his command, his control, how he is on the field, off the field, in the locker room, in the building. And you've all seen him when he comes out to huddle on the field, he's all business. This is Shedeur Sanders' year. I'm predicting that you're going to have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter both at the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City, sitting shoulder to shoulder like the Colorado mantra is. And one of them is going to walk away with that Heisman Trophy.
100%. I'm right there with it. I predict also that he's going to break his own records this year with the receivers that we've brought in and the offensive line protection and with what Coach Pat Shermer has up his sleeve this year. I think he's going to break his own records in several categories this year. I heard you talk about the linebacker room, how deep it seems right now with the amount of players in there, and the running back room. I've been taking a look at the receivers room and the defensive line room. From what you've seen, in your opinion, what room do you think is the deepest as far as talent wise?
Oh, that's a great question. When you attach that caveat talent to it, because I've seen it, what they did at other places and here, I'm going to go with the receiver room. But man, that don't mean that the corners ain't right there with them. That DB room is loaded too, Chico. And then now after post portal, the linebackers, man, I'm telling you, we've added like 6 guys to that row that are going to come and have an impact on the game, be it at linebacker and or special teams. So to me, those 3 groups are like 1A and 1B as far as their depth and their talent. And let me tell you this, man, it's not over. You have a deadline to get in the portal. There's no deadline to get out of it. You have graduate students as well. Like we got a grad camp coming up. There's going to be some more depth added to this team, between now and you get in the fall camp. So I'm going to go with the receivers, man. With the talent level of those guys that are coming in here, married with the talent that was already here, but those corners are right behind them. That room is just as deep.
You also have access to the coaching staff meetings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. How much has that coaching meeting room has changed? How much has it changed since last year, as far as attitude wise and the amount of NFL experience you have in that room now? What has it been like?
I think in a short time, this group has gelled together faster than last year's group did. That this group looks like they have been working together for years. I talked about that with Dancy D-Lou and Coach Sapp. But even overall, the entire group from this spring to now has really gelled and looked like they've been together a couple of seasons. And I think that has a lot to do with the trust factor. They know each other. They know each other's resumes. not just in playing days resumes, but in their coaching resumes. And, Coach Prime does a lot of things just to build relationships. They go out golfing together, they hang out, they talk in the building, they get together with their units when they can. And so there's a lot of emphasis, whether it's the players or the staff, that Coach Prime is placed on getting to know each other, hang out together, get to know each other, talk about philosophies, what you want to accomplish, build that trust and relationship. Because I think there were some times this past season that Coach Prime felt like it was a lack of trust and relationships and that true coming together as a staff that we weren't able to get out of some adverse situations like we should have. So the emphasis this offseason has been on fixing that it starts with relationships. And when you walk in the building, man, you wouldn't know, that Coach Rob Livingston, hadn't been there a couple of years. You wouldn't know that Sapp just got to the building. You wouldn't know that D. Lou just got there. These guys walk around, kid each other, hug each other, talk strategy over lunch and in meetings. And it's like they've been working together for years. And I think that's going to translate on the field. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's because of they can speak the same language, being that so many of them played in the NFL and have an NFL background or just a high level of coaching and playing background. They speak the same language and they know what they expect. Not saying the other coaches didn't, but
Sure.
it's something about when you have that network or that past relationship, that rapport, whether it's with that person or with someone that person knows, y'all know a mutual friend, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think they're all on the same wavelength in that coaching staff also, and that's going to show on the field too. The OBs, you saw him pull
Yeah.
up the original Buffs and tell everybody, hey, make sure when you see them, you respect them, because these guys been through hell and hot water, and they're still here. That's commendable, that's respectable.
Well, it's always interesting. There are things that take place internally and we see it and know it and feel it. And when I say that, I'm including, coverage, by your network as well. Because
Yeah,
you have a grasp and a feel of things, even over distance, what's taking place. And those guys with the OBs on their shirt have always been respected, valued, and so amongst the players, they've always felt it. You look at the love that Charlie Offerdahl was getting even before he went up to the scholarship. And I can remember being first meeting with Coach Prime, and a lot of people hear it, but the camera didn't pan around to who said it. That meeting where Coach Prime, talked about, and this, I'm telling you now, this is the meeting where he was talking to the former players, the bulk of the
yeah,
former players. That meeting, that way, way back meeting, Coach Prime was talking about flipping this roster. Y'all remember that conversation? And I'm bringing my Louis in. And as he was talking to players currently, Ben said, "Oh, I know I'm not leaving. I'm going to be here." Like
yeah,
Charlie Offerdahl had that attitude. And what I
yeah,
love about it, and what just puzzles me, I'm saying it puzzles me, but I know why they do it. The media will run out and find people who've left here and try to grab those stories, but they don't call up those guys that stayed and been here and fought through it and have made this team under a Coach Prime standard. Like that's where the story is, because it ain't just one or two
right.
of them. There's a lot of guys still here that were here before Coach Prime got here, and they are part of this team. They're part of the culture. They're loved on. They're appreciated. They're not just here because we got to keep a couple of them. No, they're here because they're good damn teammates and good at what they do.